What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cloud Slayer podcast. Hope you're doing well in this morning, maybe afternoon. I don't know. Maybe you're going to bed. Quite frankly, don't know, but hope it's going well regardless. Today, I do got some running video, so I actually use my GoPro to film me jogging and doing this podcast. So, like I said, I want to do more of that, and I like running. I like rambling, man. I like getting lost in my own freaking crazy mind sometimes. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope you guys have a freaking good rest of your time. So peace, guys. I hope you hit that like and subscribe button too if you enjoy. Thank you. Yo, what's good, everybody? Hope it's all going well for you guys. Kind of cold out today. Real cold out there. Just trying to use the GoPro as I run today, see how that goes. We'll see how it sounds, see how that background noise is, you know what I mean? So I'm not even running, I'm jogging little jogs. So we'll show you. And that's pretty much it through the whole time, you know. I'll slow down or something when I get tired or start losing my breath, stuff like that. But I'll just keep going, you know. Laps on laps on laps, bro. I don't keep track of that, but I do. I keep track of like time, you know, time ran, time walked, stuff like that. So I think the longest I went for was so far it's only an hour and a half. I could probably did 2 hours. It took a lot of, you know, going pretty slow, but I kept putting one foot in front of the other, you know what I mean? So that's what the main thing's about, one foot in front of the other, and keeping your breath, like in twice with your mouth, or in twice with your nose, out twice with your mouth. Each breath in or out should fall into like a footstep. You can switch it up, do 3 and 3, 3 and 2, whatever you want to do to push yourself, you know, or change up your breathing and, you know, allow yourself to catch your breath in any type of manner. So if it's real bad, I am not going to release this, but I am just gonna, you know, I'm just gonna record anyways. Fuck it. It is cold up in this bitch. I should put some gloves on. I don't know what the heck I was thinking or expecting. It was negative whatever out, you know. So I don't know. I should have let it warm up before I started running, but it is what it is. I only set it to 55, so the garage will only warm up to 55 anyways. But that's still a 70-degree turn, right? So I believe it's like negative 20 out almost. Right now here in Minnesota anyways, I don't know how hot it is or how cold it is over there for you guys. So, let's run a place here. Let's get a glove for my right hand. Look here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So let's see here. There's a glove in for that hand, so you know, it doesn't freeze, which it does usually when I'm walking or jogging with just my phone, trying to capture my audio and not, you know, not get muffled or get covered up by my shirt or something like that. So it is what it is. I do like to jog. I can't wait for summertime. When summertime comes, I'll probably just attach it to my head while I talk. Then I'll, you know, run around my neighborhood and stuff like that. That's where it all starts, is right inside your neighborhood. So, I mean, if you want to work out and you don't necessarily know what you want to do, frickin' run, walk, or whatever, you know, those are free. You ain't gonna pay for them. I mean, if you want to go to gym and stuff like that, or buy a treadmill, or go and run on somebody else's treadmill, I mean, that's all on you. I don't blame you for it. I mean, I would too. So I almost tripped on this table saw. But it just pace yourself. Watch a lot of videos and stuff. So I guess a good one too is make sure you're stretching first. Just in case your hips get tight and stuff like that, your hamstrings, whatever. Just get those stretched out. Get those pre-warmed up. Do like high knees and stuff like that. Like, but exaggerate lifting your knees up, because that plays a lot into running as well. So high knees, everybody, and butt kicks. Like football, you taught me that one. Do butt kicks. Basketball too. You do a bunch of different ones. Shuffle your feet. Come to top. You know, switching directions and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll just run around in a circle, dribbling the ball through the legs, behind the back, crossovers, you know, that's all you need. I grew up most of my life playing basketball, so it's different for everybody. Like when I have the basketball and I'm doing it, it doesn't feel like I'm jogging at all, you know, because I'm too focused trying to do moves and just have a good time. And when I try to incorporate that into when I'm jogging too, and you know, so it doesn't seem like it's work, so it seems more like it's fun than anything. So it is what it is. You're gonna do what you want to do, and it's up to you whether you stop or not. But you know, ultimately it's going to be inside your own mind, your own mindset, because this does require a pretty tough mind, I guess you would say, to continue to do this for a long period of time, especially without like stopping at first, you know. So let's see here. The reason why I was saying high knees is because when you're running, you're kind of pushing your knees forward, but you're also putting like your back leg behind you as far as you can. You're not going to be as exaggerated, but you do want to separate your legs and, you know, in a sense, open up your hips, and that's what's going to give you more distance when you run. A lot of people run on like the balls of their feet too. I don't know. Some people, they're really flat-footed. That might hurt you too. So you might want to practice going on the balls of your feet. So don't worry about how fast or how far you're going at first. Look at, go like this. Go super slow. Just stay on the balls of your feet for as long as you can. I'll give you a recap workout. We're about the back leg, like kind of flexing your butt cheek, your hamstrings and glutes, and your frickin' other leg, knee forward. So, and don't worry about how fast you're going. Just worry about getting that other one leg in front of the other leg. So that's the end goal, is just to keep moving, not how far you can go. But eventually when you
get that endurance to go long distances for faster or for farther, whichever one. Just, you know, you'll find those ways to challenge yourself. But you gotta build up to it. You don't just get there. And like, I don't know, they always say Rome wasn't built overnight. It's true, obviously, because you don't just get out there and start running, jogging, or anything like that. You know what I mean? You gotta kind of build up to it. Even if you just start walking, like, who's that? Mike Tyson. He says he got up to like 300 pounds when he was fighting back in the olden days. Olden days, right? But it all started with walking for him again. You know, he's like, oh shit, pretty soon I'm just going faster and faster. And then all of a sudden that fire's back at him, and he's pushing himself. He's competing within his own mind and within his own heart. So in order for you to get there, though, you got to start somewhere. And everybody started at the same exact place as you have, with your mommy and daddy. So don't ever have that mindset of must be nice. It must be cool to be. It's so easy for you. It's not easy for everybody. No, not easy for nobody. You know, they're out there pushing themselves too. They're out there hurting. They're out there aching and waking, aching and waking. But the important thing is they're out there, and it starts with just moving one foot in front of the other foot. So that's something to keep in mind for anybody that's out there looking to make that a step forward, that easy but super difficult step forward, going towards your goals, going towards your dreams, going towards a better lifestyle, or better health, or just a more difficult challenge. You know, it all depends on what your end goal is, what goal you have on the inside, what goal are you setting for yourself. You know, fuck what anybody else is doing. What are you doing? You know, you might be able to take pages out of their fucking books, but at the end of the fucking day, it comes down to you getting off your ass and doing that yourself, not nobody else. You know, so sorry for turning up a little bit, guys, but that's how it is, and that's what I have to tell myself too. You know, whether it be lifting weights, whether it be playing basketball, whether it just be fucking walking or running, almost anything in life, you know? And if you don't like those things, think about the things you do like, and pretty soon you're like, I don't even notice I'm doing it, you know? Just like I said with me dribbling like a basketball, well, I do this, it made me feel like I wasn't running or doing any of that jazz, even though I was, you know? And it takes away that feeling of work, even if you are doing the work, you know? Except you're not in that mindset of forcing yourself to do so, forcing yourself to want to go further, go above and beyond where you were earlier today or yesterday or last year or whatever, you know? Like, I don't know, a few years back I started lifting weights again, and my whole purpose was to bench press more than I did when I was 16 in high school, right? Because back then my bench press, I hit 300 pounds for a single, and that was the most I ever lifted for a bench press standpoint. And you know, I went out there and I bench pressed more than 300 pounds. It was pretty cool. For me, I felt real accomplished. I remember it was 303. Oh man, I was so stoked. It was crazy because then it was so easy too. Well, it wasn't easy. It's tough to build up to that because you got to plan and do stuff like that, especially for somebody like me that just I just start to get back in weightlifting. So what happened was this, I don't know, I got back into weightlifting. I started gaining weight, and I got up to probably like 265, and then my bench press got back up. I started doing like 275 for, you know, a 5 spot, five, not quads, my bad, five reps. And I was like, oh man, I should be able to press, you know, they say theoretically you should be able to do 50 pounds more at what will be 1 rep max if you could do something for like 5 reps. But that's also dependent on how much you're training those 1 rep max, how often, if you do it all. Because if you don't, you're not taxing your CNS, your central nervous system like that, it's not going to be ready when you go to do that. So your lift won't be optimal. It will, I don't know, it could be worse. It could have an adverse effect on you. You could get injured. So if you're doing that, if you're lifting for a 1 rep max, you also got to be practicing those high weights, low reps. You know, you can't, like, there's freak athletes out there that's bench pressing 225 more than somebody that might be able to bench 405, you know. So let's say the guy bench pressing 405 might be able to do a 30 time, but this athlete who's doing 225, you know, they're more endurance athletes, like football players and stuff. They can drop like 60 piece and they might only be able to bench press 375, something like that, you know. They might, it just, they didn't tax their central nervous system like they would that athlete or that lifter, in that case of their 1 rep max. They're doing more long distance lifting, and it plays a different role inside of somebody's central nervous system. So it depends on what you're doing and how you set yourself up for success towards your goal of doing a certain lift or performing a certain exercise, or, you know, doing anything in life. So I think that's why I like weightlifting too. It helps you plan stuff out sometimes, you know. I had to take that glove off, sorry. Hand was starting to sweat to beat hell. But, you know, it just planning and executing. Sometimes when, like, you're doing these things and you don't feel like doing it, you still got to go out there and do it. You got to force yourself. At least get as close as possible. If you, let's say, you're going for 4 or 5, but that's still 5 weeks out, and this week you still want to do a 1 rep max to gauge where you're at, because your 6 rep max went up, 7 rep max went up, your 3 rep max went up, and even your 2 rep max went up. But what if you didn't get enough sleep? And your 2 rep max last week felt extremely heavy with the single, and you know, you just flat out, you know, you're like, you just fail. You fail horribly because you might not have got enough sleep. You didn't get enough proper nutrition in your body to keep you going, you know. And freaking, you know, don't let that get you down. So instead of giving up there, on your way down, like, hit some more weights, lift more with those little weights, and shake off that failed lift. Don't let that shit hold you back, and shake it off. Go back to the drawing board, but you still gotta lift along the way. Challenge yourself in different lifts. Like if you're doing like a flat bench, don't just do flat bench with your arms in that same position. You know, like that's the same way people get like carpal tunnel and shit with their hands. You're gonna do that with your chest. So you want to challenge it in different ways, different placements on the bar with, you know, with your hands. So you might want to go a little wider. When I say a little wider, don't do like multiple hands, maybe like it's only a finger. So if your normal grip's like at the rings, and that might be considered wide for some people, depending on how long your arms are, depending on how your bench sits, depending on where the bar's at when you lift off. You know, there's so many different factors. But you should also film those instances to kind of gauge it. You know, there's also like bench press groups out there on like Facebook. You can post your pictures. They'll be able to tell you what you're doing wrong, and you know, various things like that. They'll give you a form breakdown, something that you might not be seeing. So go to those people and have those guys like kind of critique it. It's not always going to be the best. There's going to be some dickheads out there that are like, just lift more, bro. Just throw 10 more pounds on, bro. You know? Or, oh, form sucks. That's it. That's the feedback. Ignore those cocksmokers, you know? They say, hey, fuck that guy. And keep going. There are going to be some guys that have done it and are willing to give you good advice. So you got to kind of, you know, search through that shit and figure out who's got some good advice for you out there. A lot of times it's going to be somebody that has been there and figured out how to get past that. You know, there's maybe you're lifting too many days in a row consecutively, you know, because for a lot of those guys that get like really big bench presses, they might have to lift less times a week as opposed to like an intermediate or a beginner lifter, you know. So those are things to keep in mind. You know, they say the recovery is just as important as the lifting, if not more important. So you got to make sure you get your recovery, and that's in everything: basketball, football, weightlifting, golding, you know, brain exercises. People fry their brains out on dumb shit, right? So keep those things in mind, and you know, just keep going, man. Keep going. You got this shit. I believe in you. If my big ass can do it, look at this. I'm 268, 267 right now. I'm losing weight slowly. I'm trying not to lose weight too fast. This goes towards where I was going earlier when I was at, you know, 5 reps or 275 at that time. It's not that much, I know, especially for my weight. But, you know, I seen that and then I dropped down. But the thing is, I dropped down way too fast and it had an adverse effect on my bench press. So, you know, those things are also other things you want to factor in, because since I gained weight so fast, a lot of it was fat. So, but when I lost weight too fast, I lost some of that muscle, some of that, you know, some of those things that had affected my stabilizers, and it also hurt them because with me, I was essentially starving myself. So I was still lifting weights, but I was starving myself. When it sucked. I was so defeated in my fucking mind, my head. Man, I was in a bad spot, you know. But my bench press dropped down to, I might do 225 for a single, and I dropped down to 192 pounds. But my deadlift, like I started deadlifting all of a sudden, because I never deadlifted. I tried in high school once. I did 3 plates. First time I ever deadlifted. 3 plates on a trap bar. I didn't even know what a fucking trap bar was at that time. I just seen that, and I seen some kids doing it, and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna try it. Maybe it'll help me jump higher, because, you know, my vertical, I probably only slightly over the wrist to slap it on the rim, and I was trying to do further because, you know, I want to get my arm in the rim to dunk when I was a kid. I never quite got that far, freaking sports injuries and stuff, but it didn't stop me from trying and continuing to hurt myself because I wasn't very smart. I didn't have nobody to guide me. I had nobody telling me how to achieve these things, and I'm not blaming nobody, I'm blaming myself, because instead of listening to my body, I kept going. But that's what kind of happens when you're young too. But regardless, let's see. So it dropped down. My deadlift, I got that to 405 though, and it was pretty easy. I was like, holy shit. But I was deadlifting every day though too. It was crazy. I could deadlift every day. Deadlift spiked up. I think the first day I could only went up to 225. I was so tight. I didn't even have a good form to perform those deadlifts, you know. And so it was like 225. I knew it was bad because, you know, when your back's all like curled up like this, and it hurt, you know. So I watched a lot of like Mark Bell. I watched like Kyler. I can't remember his last name right now. Kyler. He's one of the best deadlifters right now for like powerlifting. Probably, I think he was like the weight class below like Jamal Browner, who that motherfucker deadlift fucking a little over 500 kilos, didn't he? And that dude's only 240 pounds or something. But I'm gonna keep going. Sorry guys, I always get sidetracked, I know. But I watched a lot of those, took a lot of tips. There was also like Strength Cartel for me. I watched those guys do it. So I was watching those guys too for years, you know. But it was, now I could properly deadlift. I couldn't even squat neither. It's sad to say, but I did get my squat up to only 300 pounds, you know, 303. It's the most I ever squatted. And I was doing, for me, my heavy squats, my heavy deadlifts at the same time, and I hurt my ankle, and I just, you know, I still haven't been able to shake it, but I do more body weight stuff than I do heavy lifting for me on squats or deadlifts anymore. I mean, I'll do deadlifts, but the most I'll go is like 2 red plates, which is 265. I'll just do like, you know, sets of 10 or something, or more if I can. So it depends on how I feel. It's more of the mind muscle connection to the muscle tissue, and mind muscle connection, and getting that muscle pump, right? So I guess it's more like the bodybuilding thing. I mean, I don't just stop at 10. I can go further. You know, I do go further. It's about challenging your mind and your body at the same time. So just to keep that in mind as well. So, but anyways, it dropped down to 225 for one single rep on a good day. My buddies see me and they're like, I thought you were gonna do way more. It's like I tried to, but I started like hurting my shoulders too. I wasn't recovering properly. I didn't tell them that because I didn't want to make excuses. I had no excuses. You know, I've just never been a guy that made those excuses. I'd just be like, I don't know, man. I just told them, like, I think it was because I lost weight too fast. And then, so from there, it was like, whatever. So I stopped worrying about how heavy I got. So I stayed in probably 185. Or 205 was the most I can go up to. So I could do sets of 10 easily with 205, which is weird because I could only do 225 for one. So I think what I came up with was I hurt like a stabilizer muscle in my shoulder or something because I always just lift alone and, you know, unrack by myself and stuff like that. So that's what I came up with. And then I just started doing like bodybuilding stuff for me at the time. And so I'm gonna tone up because my midsection was like, you know, when you lose that much weight, and my body, it builds up fat first in my midsection, then it goes out. Like all my limbs stay skinny, but my midsection gets big, right? So it was kind of, you could tell I was fat, you know, I was skinny fat. So that's why when I make comments of skinny fat, I come from that place where I know how it is to be there. And then I started just endurance stuff. I focused on high reps and doing them properly with Mark Bell and those guys, and stop worrying about those numbers. stopped chasing that bigger number and started chasing the reps, started chasing the pump, started chasing the way it felt and the way it burned within those muscles. And I started to get more defined. Then I was like, fuck it, I wanna finally bench press 300 pounds, you know, like I did when I was 16. Because I started eating more, and it was starting to stay with me because I was staying on a proper eating regimen while I was gaining weight. So I could see the top part of my abs and stuff, you know, that started coming in. My chest was looking solid, but then I start falling into eating shit again. About 225. I was 225 pounds. I was looking lean. I had endurance. I'm running, and you know, looking pretty good. Then I start falling off. After Thanksgiving, I'm not blaming nobody. I'm blaming myself. It's me. I'm responsible for me. I made those choices, but I freaking, you know, I started eating shit, fast food again, pop, freaking. Oh, it's diet pop, it's zero sugar pop. You know what? End of the fucking day, it's pop, dude. It's pop. I got a pop over here right now, but you know, whatever. I know that I'm not sitting here lying to myself, telling myself it's zero sugar or whatever. But now I'm not having it with a meal. I'm using it, you know, it's a meal when I have it. And that's how I'm starting to approach my diet again. Starting to lose weight. Trying not to lose too much weight all at once, but I'm also being mindful more so of what I'm putting in my body as opposed to, you know, the caloric intake in general. And I think that's what works for me. It might not work for you. It's not gonna work for everybody, right? So I'm not telling you to do that. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. Do it however the hell you want to do it. So it just a lot of different factors out there, a lot of different things for you to try out there. And you know, success is around the corner as long as you're willing to work for it. But I end up getting fat. I almost got up to 300 pounds, man. I was 293 pounds. I started posting videos on me on YouTube, practicing like a question mark kick. I end up, all right, I'm sorry, I'll continue with that story. I got my bench press up, bench press started going up as I started eating, getting a little more sleep, and you know, it got up to 357 pounds, so I beat the 300 mark. That was my goal. So I got up to 357 for a single rep bench press. Bench pressing at 300 pounds for multiple, you know, I think my max reps for 300 is like 6 reps or some shit. That ain't that much, but you know, for me, I'm happy. I don't care. I'm trying to go further. Well, I wanted to, but then I wanted to, you know, I wanted to lose weight. So that's where I'm at now, losing weight again and trying to do that more so and get my diet back right and stay on track on my diet. Maybe I'll gain weight again, but I'm gonna stay consistent with the better food, wholesome foods, and more home-cooked meals for myself, you know? Rice, potatoes, chicken, steak, freaking fish. Ooh, love that fish, man. I love that salmon, love that steelhead trout, love all that shit, dude. Oh man, I'll make myself hungry just thinking about it. I better shut up. But you know, also not eating a gigantic meal at the same time and cutting my portions down. So now it's starting to make sense when they said you should only have like your steak should only be the palm of your hand. And now I'm starting to take that into consideration, as that's what I cut my meal down to. So maybe if I'm having a piece of meat, I limit it to just my hand It sounds weird. Sorry guys, but just palm of my hand there, then that's my meal. Then I ain't gonna eat more. I gotta, my stomach's starting to adapt to that, so, which is good, because the more you do it, the longer you do it, the more used to it your body's gonna come to it, and it'll make it that much easier for yourself to do it. So don't take it from me. You got to try these different ways out yourself. What works for me isn't gonna work for everybody, and vice versa. So I just do the shit that makes me feel happy, that, because they say ultimately it comes down to you and how you feel, and you know, it's gonna be whatever you can stay consistent with is what you're gonna want to do. So keep that in mind, that it's ultimately gonna become coming down to you. I'm done rambling about that, but I might just stop running now. It's been over 30 minutes. A little jog, got a little sweat going. I'm probably just gonna do some ground and pound work or some shit. Maybe, maybe not. But I just want to drop in, have a little chit chat, create this video for you guys, and just ramble about shit. I love rambling. Nah, you know, keeps you sane, stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys have a good night. And please hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this. And you know, peace. Love you guys.